Hello there, Whipperman here. This is a tutorial for how to set up instant manual and clutch shifting with the controller in Wreckfest 2 with just a single button press. First, open the game and go to Settings, and then Bindings. Select your controller and switch to the driving controls. Then bind the clutch to an analog input on your controller. I use right stick up. It's important that you use an analog input for the clutch because using a digital input will introduce a slight delay. Next, bind shift up and shift down to whatever you'd prefer to use. I like using B for shift up and X for shift down. Next, open the Steam overlay if you have it enabled and click on the controller icon at the bottom to open the Steam input controller settings. If you don't have the Steam overlay enabled, you can do this through the Steam app by going to Wreckfest 2 in your Steam library and then clicking on the controller icon in the top right. If you don't have Steam input enabled, enable it first, and then click on Edit Layout, and then next find the button you bound earlier for Shift Up and press the cog icon to open the settings menu. Click Add Extra Command and bind this extra command to the same button you bound for Shift Up. For me, that's the B button. Next, click on the first command and rebind it to whatever analog input you bound for the clutch. In my case, that's right stick up. Next, repeat the process with the button you bound for Shift Down. So first we add an extra command, we bind it to the Shift Down button, and then rebind the first command to right stick up. That's all you need to do here. Next, go back to the game and go to the advanced controller settings. Scroll down until you find clutch saturation and clutch dead zone. I like to set the dead zone to around 5% to make sure I don't have any issues with accidental clutch activation due to things like stick drift, or maybe you accidentally knock the stick as you're pressing other buttons. You should just be able to leave the clutch saturation at 100%, the default value, and it should just work perfectly for you. But if you are having issues for whatever reason, I don't know why, you can try reducing this to around 5% or something, and that should fix your issue. And actually, I've found some success with setting this value to 110%, because what that means is that your clutch is never fully activated. So you can actually have some throttle input as you're changing gear throughout the entire gear change process, whereas if you have it set to 100%, none of your throttle input will actually go through to the car. If you enable Steam input while the game is still open, you might need to restart the game before this will work correctly for you. So if you do this and then load into a race and you're not getting instant shifting, you might want to try restarting the game first, and hopefully then that will fix your issue. So I'm just going to go to a custom race here, just pick a random track. And once it's loaded, go to assists, make sure you have manual and clutch selected, and then start. And you should see that my shifting is now instant.